Hello students. Uh, in the previous videos, we looked at the concepts of distance, displacement, speed and velocity, and we also did some problems based on that. Now, in this video, I'll be talking about motion, a specific motion called motion in a straight line that happens when a particle moves along a straight line. This could be anything, it could be a vertical straight line or a horizontal straight line or any inclined straight line. Okay, so the thing about motion in a straight line is that there are only two possible directions a particle could move. Okay, so you could take one direction as positive and the other direction as negative, and you set an origin and you could call this axis x, y or z. Okay, so let's call this x axis. So this is an axis similar to a number line, and you can mark points at equal intervals. Let's say this is 1 meter, this is 2 meters, this is 3 meters and so on. Okay, so if let's say a particle is here, if the particle is here, then its position is this arrow from the origin to that point, and the position is denoted by x, and the position x would be in this case 4 meters. And let's say this particle is moving in this direction with a speed of 2 meter per second, then its velocity v would be minus 2 meter per second. Okay, velocity v would be minus 2 meter per second. Now what I'm writing here is the instantaneous velocity, not the average velocity. This is the instantaneous velocity at that particular instant. Okay, now what about instantaneous speed? The instantaneous speed would be, you could call it v, or you could call velocity v vector, or and speed as just v. V would be 2 meter per second. All right, so you could see that the magnitude of instantaneous velocity is equal to the instantaneous speed. Now, to generalize this, what we'll do is, let's say the particle is moving on the x-axis, and this is the origin at time t is equal to 0. This is when you start your stopwatch to observe the motion of the particle. Let's say at t is equal to 0, the particle is here, and this distance is its initial position. The length, the distance of the arrow from the origin to its current position is called the initial position, because this is at t is equal to 0, and let's call that x naught. Okay, we'll call that x naught. And after some time t, let's say at time t is equal to t, the particle is here, and let's call this position, the final position, as x. Alright, this is x at any time t. So you could clearly see that the displacement of the particle is this. This is the displacement s of the particle. Now we cannot comment on the distance traveled by the particle, because this particle might have gone here, then there, and then came to this point. We don't know about that. So all we could say right now is, using this information, is that the displacement of the particle is s, and can you see that x naught plus s is equal to x. This is basically initial position plus displacement will give you the final position. So from here you could write x is equal to, the displacement would be equal to final position minus initial position. Okay, now there is another, you could also use the subscript of 1 and 2. Okay, you could also do that. If you want me to generalize that, I could do that as well. So this is the basic idea. And what about the time interval? The time interval is, final time is t, minus initial time is 0, so this would be t. Okay, so what would be the average velocity in this case? Average velocity, I'll denote it using VAV. Average velocity would be by definition displacement by time. Okay, so that would be x minus x naught by time. All right, so from here you could see that you will get another a very good equation. If you know the average velocity, but by just rearranging this, you will get an equation: x is equal to x naught plus v average into time. X is equal to x naught plus v average into time. If you know the value of average velocity and its initial position, you could find the position of the particle at that particular time. Okay, so that is a basic idea of motion in a straight line. Now let's generalize this further. Now in some books you will see the following notations. What they'll say is, this is the origin, the particle is here at t is equal to t1, okay, and at t is equal to t2, the particle is here. Let's say this is x is equal to x1 and this is x is equal to x2. This basically means this distance is x1 and this distance is x2, and this of course would be the displacement. Now you need to be familiar with the concept of delta. Delta is denoted like this by a triangle, and this implies change in a quantity. Okay, so when I write delta x, it basically means change in x. Okay, right, change in x. If I write delta t, it means change in time. Okay, time t. All right, so here if you look at this, what is s? S would be equal to x2 minus x1, so that is a change in x, so s is also written as delta x. Now this is the displacement. Okay, now what about the time interval? Time interval would be final time t2 minus initial time t1, and that can be written as delta t. Okay, so the displacement is delta x and the time interval is delta t. So by definition, what would be the average velocity? The average velocity would be delta x by delta t. Okay, that is the definition of average velocity. Hope you have understood this concept. Now if you want to calculate the instantaneous velocity, okay, if you want to calculate what is the instantaneous velocity, I've told you this before. What we do is we bring down the time interval. We think the time interval is very, very small. So let's say the particle is at t is equal to t. T is equal to t, or I'll call it t is equal to t1. The particle is here, and let's call this x is equal to x1, and I'm going to change the time by a very, very small amount. Okay, I'm going to change the time by very small amount, and I'll do one thing. I'll call this time as t1 and this position as x1, and t1 is equal to t and x1 is equal to x, and I'll just change the time by very small amount, so you could see that the particle virtually moves a very small distance. And let's call this position as x2, which is x plus dx. Now what is dx? When I say dx, this also means change in x, but this change is very small. So this is very small change in x. Okay, and when I write dt, which is this time t2 is t plus dt. Dt is the very small change in time t. Okay, so from this you could see that the displacement, you could see that this is the displacement, this is s. In this case, s would be equal to x2 minus x1. What is x2? X plus dx minus x, so the displacement is dx, and the time interval delta t would be final time t2 minus t1. So what is the final time? T plus dt minus initial time t, so that is dt. So the instantaneous velocity, we'll just denote it using v vector. Instantaneous velocity would be the small displacement by small time, so it is written as dx by dt. Okay, so that is dx upon dt. So I'll summarize what we learned. Average, what is displacement? Displacement is denoted by s. You could also write s vector, which is equal to delta x. Okay, and what is very small displacement? Very small displacement is denoted by dx. All right, then the average speed, average velocity VAV can be written as delta x by delta t. Then instantaneous velocity, just v vector, can be written as dx by dt. Okay, so this is the basic mathematics involved in studying motion in a straight line. Okay, and delta x is the change in x, and delta dx is also the change in x, but this change is very, very small. Okay, now let's look at the importance of the sign of these quantities. Now, first thing you need to know is, when I say that x is positive, how do you denote positive? Just writing greater than 0. So x is positive. Okay, so x is positive basically means the particle is here. This is the origin, this is the positive direction, and this is the negative direction. Okay, this is the displacement position of the instantaneous position of the particle. Right, what do you mean when I say x is negative? When I say x is negative, the particle is on the other side of the x-axis. So here's the origin and here's the particle. Okay, this is negative, this is positive. So as you can see, x is in the opposite direction or in the negative direction, so you could say that the position is negative. Okay, now the third possibility is x is equal to 0. Okay, x being equal to 0 means the particle is at the origin, it's exactly at the origin. All right, so that's the sign convention of position. This is position. Okay, now let's look at displacement. Okay, what about displacement? If the displacement is positive, first one, displacement is positive, what does that imply? That implies delta x is positive. That basically means x2 is greater than x1. the final position is greater than the initial position. Now what does that mean? If the particle is already here, if this is x1, then x2 would definitely be here, okay? And if the particle is on the negative side, then this is x1, then it has to be, the x2 has to be on the right side. The displacement is always, you could see the displacement is always towards the positive direction, okay? This is the origin. It doesn't matter where the position of the initial position of the particle is, as long as the particle is moving towards the positive direction. So that basically implies displacement is positive. So the obvious thing is that if the displacement is negative, the particle has to move towards the negative direction, okay? So when I write displacement is negative, that implies delta x is negative, that implies x2 is less than x1. So if the particle is here, let's say this is x1, then it has to move towards the negative direction, and the final position should be here, okay? So you could see x2 is less than x1. And if the particle is on the negative side, again negative displacement implies it has to move towards the negative direction, and you could imagine that if this is x1, this has to be x2, okay? Now don't get confused. You would say that the distance from the origin in this case is greater. What basically I need to tell you is that, let's say this is minus 2 meters and this is minus 3 meter. Mathematically minus 3 is less than minus 2, okay? So that's what I mean when I say x2 minus x1. I'm not talking about this distance, I'm not talking about these distances, okay? So you need, the negative sign also implies the direction of motion, okay? Since in motion in a straight line there are only two possible directions, so anything that is positive is directed towards the positive direction, and anything that is negative is directed towards the negative direction. I hope you understood this. Now if you know the signs of, this was case 2, sorry, if you know the signs of displacement, the same sign would apply for average velocity, because average velocity is equal to displacement by time, and the change in time is always positive. So time has only one direction, it moves forward, so change in time is always taken as positive. So average velocity, what is average velocity? Average velocity is delta x by delta t. You know that delta t is always positive, so if delta x is positive, v average is positive. If delta t is positive, v average is negative. So whenever I say that the average velocity of the particle is positive, you need to realize that its displacement is positive. So you know how to analyze that, okay? And if I say the average velocity of the particle is negative, it means its displacement is negative. And you know, when the displacement is negative, it is moving towards the negative direction. Alright, now the third case of course is displacement being equal to 0. That's a no-brainer actually. If displacement is equal to 0, you could say that x2 is equal to x1, that means it has come back to its original position. There are two possibilities: it might have moved, it might not have moved. If it has moved, it has come back to its original position after you maybe taking a couple of turns, at least one turn, okay? If it's moving like this, it has to turn back, stop and turn back. And if it takes multiple trips, then it has to take a lot of turns. Now either way, this happens when the initial position is also the final position, okay? Let's say it came like this. So that is displacement. The sign of I just taught you what the sign of position and what the sign of displacement tells you. Now what about instantaneous velocity? Now what the sign of displacement is the same for sign of average velocity, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but I will like to tell you about the sign of instantaneous velocity. So what about that? When I say, it is a very simple concept. If v is positive, if instantaneous velocity v is positive, it basically means the particle is moving towards the positive direction. That's it, nothing else. Now it doesn't matter where the particle is. The particle could be on the positive side, it could be on the negative side, or it could be on the origin. It won't matter. This is instantaneous velocity. So when I say that the instantaneous velocity is positive, it doesn't matter where the particle is, but it has to move towards the positive direction. Now, what about instantaneous velocity being negative? That means the particle has to move towards the negative direction. Okay. So you could say it doesn't matter where the particle is right now. This is positive, this is negative, either side of the origin, and even on the origin. Negative velocity means it is moving towards the negative direction. Okay. Now, what about zero velocity? When I say the instantaneous velocity of the particle is zero, it means the particle is momentarily at rest. We do not know about what would happen in the future. That depends on the situation. Like the best example is if you throw something up. Let's say I throw a particle upwards. You know what's going to happen. It has to stop at some time. Momentarily it stops, so the velocity there would be zero, and then it comes back. Okay, so you could see that why this is a good why is it important to study motion in a straight line, because the best example is throwing something vertically upwards. So you have given it some velocity, then it goes up and then stops and then comes down. So initially, let's say if you take this direction as positive, so you have given it an initial velocity, and finally its velocity is zero, then it comes down. Now I haven't really discussed anything about particle stopping or the changing of the velocity of the particle. That's for another video. That's called acceleration. Some of you might know about it. Either way, this is what motion in a straight line is about. Now I'd also like to tell you a couple of things. Now, if I say that x is positive and v is also positive, what does that mean? This is instantaneous position and this is instantaneous velocity. It means the particle is here and moving in this direction, right? What if I say x is negative and v is also negative? That means the particle is on the negative side of the origin, this is the origin, and moving towards the negative direction. If you look at these two cases, you could see that if both x and v are positive, or if both x and v are negative, that is to say, if x and v, that is position and velocity, have the same sign, then what's happening? The particle is moving away from the origin. Can you see that? In either case, the particle is moving away from the origin. Now, what about the opposite case? What if x is positive and v is negative, and the second case is x is negative and v is positive? So you just need to flip the velocities. So here in this case, you could clearly see that the particles are moving towards the origin. So if x and v have the opposite sign, then the particle is moving towards the origin. Okay, hope you have understood all these concepts. In the next video I'll be talking about the concept of acceleration. Thank you.